Hey guys, what's going on? This is Roth and Eric here to talk a little Captain America 2 and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, big warning, full spoilers for everything Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. Big spoilers for S.H.I.E.L.D. up to last week's episode.
Yeah, end of the beginning. So if you've seen that episode, we're about to talk about it. If you haven't, you've been warned.
Now, if you are caught up and you have seen Captain America 2, then you know big events, big impact for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but also for S.H.I.E.L.D. because by the end of the film, it looks as though maybe, possibly, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been entirely dissolved. So here to talk to Eric, you review the show, you're the expert. What's going on, man? Is it over? Is it a new S.H.I.E.L.D.? What's going on?
It is crazy, right? Because by the end of Captain America, it's like this has completely affected the organization at the center of this TV show, and obviously they knew this was coming since they started the show, you know? And I think, I do think I was kind of paying attention at the end of Captain America 2, the fact that, yes, Cap says we've got to take S.H.I.E.L.D. down or take it apart, but the end of the movie does not definitively say, that's it, no more S.H.I.E.L.D., even though we see people have gone their separate ways. I think it will be that there is some remnant of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that there will be even the idea of, okay, we've got to make S.H.I.E.L.D. a smaller organization and redeem the name. And I think that might be sort of the mission of our heroes on this show is now they're kind of a more important piece of S.H.I.E.L.D. and can they kind of help redeem the name of the organization?
It feels possible, and I don't know that they're going to do this, but that they could use the same marketing, know, and use the sort of the same logo, but that they could dissolve the organization, and they could almost use this as an opportunity to next season reboot the show. Yeah, you've got Kobe Smulders is now done with How I Met Your Mother. She's a little more available. We don't think she's not going to be a series regular.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Maybe, but we don't know. Yeah.
But theoretically, she's gone to Stark Industries at the end of Captain America. She's sort of applying for the job. Does she start up Stark Securities? Is that the new organization?
Right. Like the name, the name could be symbolic, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there is no S.H.I.E.L.D., but they are the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and maybe that group on its own is supposed to represent the name. I'd actually like to see that. I think that would be interesting, and getting, one problem the show has had is that you always had the back of your mind, well, they've got so many resources they can call on. And I think no matter what, this is good for the show because it will take that away if it's a smaller group. But if they're not working for the government at all, that really helps. I don't think they're going to do that. I have a feeling it might be we're still working for the government, but now we're a smaller piece of things. But I don't know. I'd be up for what you just said. I think that would be cool.
I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool also, too, if they were just sort of like a shadow organization, and you're right, trying to sort of rebuild it, but without the resources of the government because they can't trust anyone, which brings us to the second question, which is, who, if anyone, of the central cast was Hydra?
Right. That's a big question. And, we left off with a big cliffhanger on the episode. We're very curious what next week's episode will be because they were on their way to see Nick Fury, but we know that the events of Winter Soldier are about to happen. But also they had this reveal that Agent Hand was working against them and was basically like kill everyone except for Coulson. They've had this whole idea of the clairvoyant all season, and now they've revealed the clairvoyant is someone within S.H.I.E.L.D., this insidious character. So now the question is Agent Hand, is she Hydra? Is the clairvoyant Hydra? It would be an interesting way to tie it all together, because if it's not, it's kind of funny if it's like there's another evil force within S.H.I.E.L.D. It'd work a lot better if it's all Hydra. So that would be really cool. But then what about the main cast, And that's very interesting to ponder. That's been one of the show's biggest problems. The show's gotten a lot better lately, but the core characters, they started kind of bland. They've been working on them, but you need something more. And I think it'd be kind of awesome if it turned out like Fitz or Simmons was Hydra.
I think it would be very Whedon-esque, and I know, that's... I don't know. I think it would be a lot cooler if it was a surprising character that was Hydra, but yet it didn't feel like, okay, that's so out of left field that it doesn't actually work logically. I think it would be very cool if it was somebody that you weren't thinking of that was part of Hydra, and that has been silently, you could suddenly see how they've been moving the chess pieces around without you noticing them. Because if you were a part of an organization like that, that is how you would want to function. Yeah. You would want to be unseen. You wouldn't want to be obvious.
Right as we're sitting here, I'm saying Fitz.
You do? You think so?
That's just like, I'm thinking again, I do like that. Yeah, because we're like, Melinda May would be almost too easy.
She's
obvious. Like badass. And we know she's doing something. She's calling someone, but I think it's all for the greater good. Maybe it's Fury she's been calling. I think Fitz or Simmons, but I think Fitz is the one that kind of, to me, would be like the most Whedon-esque, as you say, and it could still be, of course, it could be the thing of like, we're building a better world, that whole idea. But I think you want to do something to Fitz and Simmons. It's like something terrible. We joked at the beginning of the show, which of them's going to die first?
Yeah.
But if one of them's Hydra, that's kind of like a really cool way to go with it.
Now, what about Coulson?
Mm-hmm.
You know, does he have any knowledge? Could he have forgotten things?
I don't know about him forgetting things, but I'm very curious with this S.H.I.E.L.D. turning out to be Hydra, because that's going to be that should be a huge deal for Coulson.
The big betrayal.
The big betrayal. They've had their friendship, the rapport, even in the short that was on one of the DVDs, showed the two of them kind of hanging out. They made sure to have S.H.I.E.L.D. appear on the show a few times this season, which kind of better sets up his betrayal in Captain America 2. So I don't think Coulson will know, but it would lean towards them leaving if Coulson, after all that's happened, is like, what? And you're freaking Hydra? You know, screw you guys. So if they did take off, that would be a good reason. But I could also see Coulson being like, we're going to redeem the name of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'm sticking around. And maybe now he's one of the leaders even. You know?
I mean, but here's the thing. Fury went off to kind of go do his own thing at the end of Cap. What if S.H.I.E.L.D. does still exist as a part of a government organization, but that it is still connected to Hydra, and that, you know, they go off as like an offshoot to try to stop Hydra from within? What if that's sort of a plot line? I don't know. There's lots of options.
There is a lot of options, and I think, you know, the idea that Hydra's still out there too can be a threat. I really want to know if the clairvoyant and hand and all that will tie into Hydra. I think it makes a lot of sense if it does. But.
I think one of the things that I was really impressed about in this film, I like the film just on its own, was that how smart it was in terms of tying all of these things together. You know, Kevin Feige has said you need to go watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after it opens to get some answers about S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that's a great way to tie these things together, great marketing tool for the show, lucky them. But also, and you disagree with me on this.
To some extent, yeah.
I think that they have, so the after credits scene, you guys probably saw, showed Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, right?
Yeah.
And they are being experimented on with Loki's scepter, it looks like. And a lot of people died via these experiments, and some people were genetically predisposed to live. Mm-hmm. Now, it's obvious to me, I think, that this is how they're getting around the idea of mutants. It's that you're not born this way, but you're born with the DNA that allows you to become a superhero and live. Now, in the pilot of S.H.I.E.L.D., they introduced the idea of using a combination of the super serum, extremis, and alien tech to create superheroes, and most of them died. So I feel like they knew that they were going to go in this direction with mutants all the way back then, and they planted the idea that this is what was happening.
This is their stealth way around mutants, basically. Yeah, I think it is, it's definitely, I think that there's something to be said for that, and I think what you're seeing a lot, and Cap is paying off a lot, is this building, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is showing that, S.H.I.E.L.D. even using extremis was a cool move in the pilot. So I think we are seeing that, that building upon building, and I think in season 2 of S.H.I.E.L.D., hopefully they'll have much more of a focus, what is their mission post-Cap, and I think that's...
Fight Hydra
and stop these new super characters they're creating. That could be it.
I think it's cool. Thanks so much for your insights about this. You guys let us know what you think. What are your theories? Are you excited by the bigger connections between the cinematic universe and the show? What do you think will happen? Let us know in comments, and keep it locked to IGN.